I never thought I'd end up here, honestly. I thought Laura and I had a pretty good thing going. Sure, we argued like everyone else, but I never expected to wake up one day and find out that everything I believed about her was a lie. We'd been together for almost 5 years, and last year we finally decided to get married. Things seemed perfect, or at least I thought they did. Laura was always a little bossy, maybe even bitchy at times, but I loved her for it. She had this fiery personality, sharp wit, and a way of making everything feel urgent and alive. The first signs that something was off started quietly, little things. She'd stay late at work more than usual. Her phone would buzz in the middle of the night and she'd quickly grab it, turn her back to me, and say she was just texting her sister or some coworker. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe she had a new project or she was just busy. I trusted her. That's what I wanted to believe. But then the small things turned into big things. She started hiding her phone, deleting messages, and acting defensive whenever I asked about her day. And the worst part, she was getting more and more distant, even during what should have been our honeymoon phase. One day, I decided to check her phone when she was in the shower. I know, that's probably crossing a line, but I was desperate and scared that I was missing something. What I found made my stomach drop. There were texts from someone named James, talking dirty, sharing plans to meet up, and boasting about how she was doing so well hiding it from her fool of a fiancé. My hands actually trembled as I read the words. It wasn't just some innocent flirt. It was outright cheating, and she had been sneaking around behind my back for months, right before our wedding, no less. I couldn't believe it. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and so damn stupid for trusting her. I kept reading, and that's when I saw the pictures. Pictures of her wearing my shirt, smiling with her hand on James's chest, like they were already a couple. And then I saw one that tore me apart. It was her, pregnant, holding a sonogram. My mind spun. I couldn't even process what I was looking at. She was pregnant with his kid. I swear my world just shattered in that moment. How could she do this? How could she lie to me for so long? I felt like I was drowning in a sea of betrayal. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I just sat there holding her phone, staring at the screen, feeling crushed by the weight of it all. After I saw everything, I couldn't even move for a few minutes. My head was spinning, my stomach rolling. I kept thinking, how could she do this? How could Laura, my fiancée, my supposed future wife, be so damn cruel? I'd always thought she was fiery, sure, but I never imagined she'd be this cold, this manipulative. I remember feeling a strange mix of anger, sadness, and disbelief. I mean, I knew she had a temper, and yeah, she could be bitchy, but I never thought she'd do something this low. The worst part, it wasn't just that she cheated. She lied about everything. The nights she said she was working late, the times she hugged me tight and told me she loved me, she was with him. Probably fucking him while I was home, believing I had a future with her. And that kid she's pregnant with, that's his. That's the kind of damage you don't come back from easily. I sat there staring at her phone, trembling, trying to process it all. I wanted to confront her immediately, but I knew I had to plan carefully. The next day I waited until she came home from work. When she walked in, that fake smile already plastered on her face, I just looked at her and said, "We need to talk." Her eyes flickered for a second. She knew I found out. That's when she started with her typical bullshit. "Oh, you saw the messages, did you? Look, I can explain," she started, but I cut her off. "Explain what, Laura? That you've been sneaking around, lying, cheating on me with your boss, that you're pregnant with his child?" Her face froze for a second, then she scoffed and rolled her eyes. "You're overreacting. It's not what you think. I was under a lot of stress. I didn't want to hear her lies anymore." I felt my blood boiling. I told her I knew everything, every message, every picture. I told her I was done being played for a fool. Her reaction. She got defensive, started crying, and then she said I was paranoid, that I didn't trust her, that I was just jealous. That's when I saw her true colors. She dismissed everything, even the fact that she's pregnant. Said she was going to have the baby, whether I liked it or not, and that I was just trying to ruin her happiness. But I wasn't going to let her get away with it. I felt a rage I'd never known before, a burning desire to make her pay for what she did. I realized then that this wasn't just about the betrayal. It was about reclaiming whatever dignity I had left. After that confrontation, I knew I had to step back and think carefully. I didn't want to lose my mind over her lies, but I also couldn't just pretend everything was okay. I spent the next few days in a fog, going through a roller coaster of emotions: shock, anger, sadness, even a little numbness. Every time I looked at her, I saw that smug smirk, the way she dismissed what she'd done like it was nothing. It infuriated me. How could she just lie like that? How could she pretend she cared about me all this time? I started digging into her phone again, searching through her messages, trying to find out how long she'd been carrying on with James. What I found was even worse, more lies. She played the victim, told him she was stressed about the wedding, that she still loved me, that she never meant to hurt anyone. Meanwhile, she was planning to keep his kid, not even hiding it anymore. She'd been lying to my face for months, maybe longer. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut every time I uncovered another lie. It was as if my entire life with her had been a con, a carefully constructed illusion. One night, I decided I needed to see her face to face and get some answers, really confront her. I called her and told her I wanted to talk. When she arrived, her eyes were defiant, like she thought she could just talk her way out of it. I told her I knew everything about the affair, the pregnancy, the lies. She didn't deny it outright, but said things like, "You're overreacting. And it's not what you think," with that bitchy smirk of hers. She kept insisting she was confused, that James was just a stage in her life, that she didn't mean to hurt me. That's when I lost it. I told her I never wanted to see her again, that she'd broken everything between us. But what really hit me was when she looked at me with this cold, calculating look and said, "You're just jealous because I'm having his baby. You're not good enough for me anymore." That was the moment I realized how deep her cruelty went. She didn't care about the pain she caused me. She only cared about her own selfish needs. And as I sat there, listening to her dismiss me like I was nothing, I started to understand that I had to do something drastic. I couldn't let her keep lying, keep pretending she was innocent. I had to make her see that her actions had consequences. That's when I started planning my revenge. In the days that followed, I couldn't sleep. Everything kept replaying in my mind: her cold words, her dismissive attitude, the way she thought she could just move on like none of this mattered. I felt betrayed on a level I never thought possible. I had always been the steady, reliable guy in her eyes, and now I realized she'd been playing me for a fool all along. The worst part, the fact that she's pregnant with his kid, meant that she was already building a future with him. I couldn't just let her get away with it. I knew I had to do something, but I also had to be smart. I started researching ways to expose her, to make her see what she was really doing. I wanted her to feel the same pain I was feeling, like she'd been caught in her lies and had nowhere to run. My plan was simple, yet dangerous. I was going to leak her messages and photos to her work, to her friends, maybe even to her family. I wanted her to see that her lies couldn't stay hidden forever, that her world was about to come crashing down. I knew it was revenge, pure and simple, but I couldn't just sit around and wait for her to ruin me further. One evening, I staged a confrontation. I called her again, told her I had proof of everything, just to see how she'd react. When she showed up, her eyes flickered with suspicion. I had the evidence ready on my phone, and I told her I was about to make everything public, that she'd lose her job, her reputation, everything. Her reaction: she got angry, furious. She told me I was crazy, that I was just trying to control her, that I didn't understand her needs. She tried to guilt-trip me, accusing me of being insecure, of ruining her life. But I wasn't backing down. I told her I'd had enough of her lies, that I'd expose her if she didn't come clean and tell me the truth. That's when she snapped. She started screaming, calling me crazy, saying I was stalking her, that I was ruining her life because I was jealous. She even called me abusive for going through her stuff. I could see the panic in her eyes, the desperation to keep everything under wraps. But I was done playing her game. I told her that I wasn't going to let her keep pretending she was innocent. If she wanted to keep lying, I'd make sure. The world knew what kind of person she really was: bitchy, selfish, willing to cheat, and now pregnant with her boss's kid. That's when I realized the revenge was just beginning, and I was ready to see her fall. Over the next few days, I put my plan into motion. I gathered all the evidence: screenshots of her messages, pictures of her with James, the sonogram, and started leaking them to her colleagues, her friends, even her family. I didn't care about the consequences anymore. I wanted her to feel what I'd been feeling, humiliated, betrayed, exposed. It was a calculated move, and honestly, it felt damn good to see her unravel. The first people I contacted were her coworkers at her office. I told them about her affair, about the pregnancy, about everything. I didn't hold back, just laid it all out with no sugarcoating. It spread fast. Within hours, her boss and some of her closest friends knew the truth. I watched her face go pale when her phone buzzed nonstop with messages and calls. She started denying everything, but the proof was there and she knew it. The more she tried to lie or spin it, the more exposed she looked. Her petulant, bitchy attitude turned into desperate defensiveness. Her reaction: she started throwing accusations at me, calling me jealous, controlling, unstable. She claimed I was stalking her, invading her privacy, and making her life hell. She even tried to turn her family against me, saying I was trying to ruin her reputation because I couldn't handle losing her. But the truth was, she'd already lost herself. Watching her squirm, I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and grief. Part of me still loved her, I won't lie, but another part was furious. How could she be so selfish? So damn manipulative. My favorite moment was when her boss called her, furious, demanding answers. She tried to deny everything, but her voice cracked under pressure. I could hear him on the other end telling her he knew she lied, that he was done with her. That was the final blow. Seeing her fall apart, realizing her carefully constructed lies were crumbling, was almost too satisfying. I knew she'd never be the same after this. The betrayal ran too deep. I'd lost trust, I'd lost respect, but I'd gained a sense of clarity. I saw her for what she really was, a manipulative, selfish woman who thought she could have her cake and eat it too. Now I just had to figure out what I was going to do next. In the days that followed, everything changed. The truth was out, and I felt like I was finally seeing her for what she truly was, a person capable of deception, betrayal, and selfishness on a scale I'd never imagined. She tried to come back, of course. She begged, cried, said she was sorry, claimed she was under too much stress, and that she never meant for any of this to happen. But I wasn't buying it anymore. Her words sounded hollow, like she was just trying to save what little she had left. I looked at her and realized that I no longer recognized the woman who once promised to love me. The woman I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone who only cared about herself. I ended things that day. I knew I deserved better. I deserved honesty, respect, and someone who didn't cheat or lie. I packed my things, left her standing there, and walked out of that place feeling more alive than I had in weeks, free from the lies and the betrayal. I didn't want to be with someone who could do this to me, who could lie so easily and pretend she cared while she was secretly with him. It hurts, yeah, it really does. But I also feel relieved. I feel like I finally took control of my life again. Looking back, I've learned a lot from this nightmare. Trust is fragile, and I won't make the mistake of ignoring my instincts next time. I also realize that some people are just broken inside, selfish, manipulative, and willing to destroy what's good for their own gain. I hope others read this and think twice before ignoring the warning signs. If you're in a similar situation, my advice is this: don't wait for everything to fall apart. Be honest with yourself, protect your heart, and don't let anyone make you feel like you're the one in the wrong for wanting truth and respect. I'm still healing. I'm still figuring out what's next. But I know one thing for sure: no matter how much pain this brought, I'm better off without her. And maybe, just maybe, I'll find someone who truly deserves my trust someday. For now, I'll focus on myself and rebuild what I lost, because in the end, nobody should settle for lies when they deserve honesty.